The big driver of future government spending is healthcare costs. So we need to rein in healthcare costs one way or another. And one of the ways you do that is by making choices, that we're not going to pay vast sums for medical procedures that produce no improvement in survival rates, and probably in the end, ones that are extremely expensive that produce only minimal medical results. We have to ask, is that really the taxpayer's responsibility? So we do need to make some choices, but mostly we need to control healthcare costs. So I'm saying death panels, and we're going to need more revenue, and there's a reasonable argument that that should take the form of something like a value-added tax down the road.
Why not just tax hikes? Why not just capital gains? Why not just?
Because there's a lot of money at the top, but we probably need even more than that. So I look at countries that I think have got good social safety nets. Sweden, they actually they raise a lot of revenue from sales taxes, because when you reach a certain level, that does become a relatively non-distortionary. Econo jargon. But anyway, that's a way to raise revenue that doesn't produce too many side effects. Doesn't have to be, but I'm guessing that in the end, when we solve this,
help me make this concrete. So right now, we're saying give me a number. So a sales tax right now is 7%, 8%.
No, at the national level, there's nothing.
Okay.
So imagine that we had a national.
I'm thinking on a state level. So you're saying equivalent to what we do on a state level.
Right. So imagine that we had a national sales tax, a value-added tax, which would be like that. It might be 3 or 4% on top of what we now do, would allow us to have generous poverty aid, would allow us to maintain Social Security intact, would allow us, if coupled with cost control, to maintain Medicare intact. So that's really all it takes.
And doesn't that place an undue burden on the middle class?
That's the downside of things like sales taxes, that they do tend to fall more heavily on the middle class than on the wealthy. But if they are used to provide really strong programs for the middle class, then it's okay. So again, think of Sweden. Sweden has a lot, they've got, I think, a 23% sales tax, something like that. But it's used to provide a really, really strong social safety net. Obviously, we're not going to do that. We don't need to, but we can. But I'm not. If you can find other ways to pay for it, fine. I'm just saying that the point about.
But income tax is not the silver bullet here.
No, income. It's a bullet. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, right? The tax hikes that we just got in the partial rollback of the Bush tax cuts, that doesn't solve our deficit problem, but it actually helps significantly. It's worth a lot in terms of getting us towards a sustainable position with a decent society. The end goal is always a decent society.